Okay, so thank you for that. And hello and welcome to everyone. So this week is the practice session. So let's jump right into it. My thought is that we would do on the basis of this daily meditation on Shakyamuni Buddha. And then in the seven limb prayer, when we do the limb of confession, I thought we could then just add the 35 Buddhas as well as the Vajrasattva practice. So yeah, no problem. It's a lot, but we can do it. So as I mentioned before, actually, when we, before we start the session, I hope we all did the preliminary practices of cleaning the room, setting up the altar. And then we get into a good meditation posture and settle our minds a bit by doing a little bit of mindfulness of the breath meditation. So why don't we do that actually before we start with the motivation. So sit comfortably. Most important thing is to have a straight back. And then if you're on the sitting on the floor or a cushion cross-legged, that's fine. If you're sitting on a chair, that's also okay. And then at the beginning, we just take a few moments and ground our awareness within our bodies. So feeling the weight of our body on the cushion beneath us or the chair beneath us. And then doing a quick scan of the body to identify any pockets of tension we might be holding. So starting from the head and going all the way down through our bodies, just piece by piece, part by part of the body, bring your awareness there and then see if there's any tension being held. And then if you notice some tension, then allow yourself to release it. So particularly in the facial muscle area, around the eyes, around the lips, allow those muscles to soften. Then going down through the shoulders and the rest of the body all the way to the toes. Then continuing on, still staying within the body, but here we turn our mind's attention to the breath. So we're just working with the natural breath as it is. But just place your mind's attention on the physical sensations within the body as we breathe in and out. One way of doing this is just asking yourself, how do you know you're breathing in this moment? And then just watch and observe what sensations manifest. And then as we observe the breath, if there's other appearances that come to the mind, be they external like sounds or internal like different thoughts, then don't engage with them. Try not to engage, but rather just allow them to arise and allow them to pass away. For us beginners, it's also helpful to count the breaths. So at the end of every exhalation, count 1, 2, and so on up to 10. Then start again at 1. While we do this, if the mind gets distracted and we lose the object of meditation, then as soon as we notice, then without judging ourselves, then gently bring the mind's awareness back to the breath, and you can start your count over again at 1. So we'll do this for just 3 more minutes. Okay, so now having settled the mind somewhat with the breathing meditation, we go on and adjust our motivation. So I'm sharing now on the screen if you want to follow along. Otherwise, I'll be reading it out loud, and you can still, within the sort of meditation state, as I read the words, you can try to arise the corresponding thoughts and feelings within your mind. Sorry about that. My Wi-Fi dropped. Okay. But that is not all. I have a perfect human body. Sorry. I need to do screen share. But that is not all. I have a perfect human body, which is also extremely rare. I have met the virtuous friend who reveals the unmistaken, complete path to enlightenment and is extremely difficult to meet. And I have met the Buddha Dharma, which is also extremely difficult to meet. Since I have met all of these extraordinarily fortunate circumstances, I should not waste my life in any way. I should make my life as useful as possible for the infinite mother of sentient beings. Their peace and happiness depend upon me, and my happiness is received only from their kindness. The greater use of my life to other sentient beings, the more it becomes the means to achieve success and happiness for myself. The purpose of my life is to free all sentient beings from suffering and its causes, negative karmas and disturbing thoughts, and to lead them not only to the ultimate happiness of self-liberation, freedom merely from the sufferings of samsara, but to the peerless happiness of full enlightenment as well. This is my responsibility. I am responsible for the happiness of all sentient beings. Why? Because whether my actions are helpful or harmful to them depends completely on my own mind, on whether I have compassion or not. By generating compassion, I immediately benefit numberless other sentient beings. At the very least, I do not harm them. The ultimate purpose of my life is to do perfect work for others. In order to fulfill that purpose, it is necessary for me to achieve the state of full enlightenment, omniscient mind. And in order to do that, I must actualize the path to enlightenment. Therefore, I am going to do actions that become only causes for me to achieve enlightenment and bring all sentient beings to enlightenment as quickly as possible. May all my actions become only causes for me to achieve enlightenment and to bring all sentient beings to enlightenment as quickly as possible. So now here at the beginning, we can do just a simple visualization of the refuge field in the many into one. So visualize your guru in the aspect of Shakyamuni Buddha in the space in front of you. about 2 yards, 2 meters in front of you at the level of your forehead. I think that the Guru, Shakyamuni Buddha, encompasses all objects of refuge. And then recalling the causes of refuge. Here in the Mahayana context, seeing that endowed with great compassion, wishing to liberate all sentient beings and taking responsibility to do that. The only way we can really do that is to attain the state of enlightenment ourselves. And therefore, in order to attain enlightenment, we need to rely on totally the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. We need to actualize the Dharma that the Buddha taught and rely on the help of the other Sangha. And then having faith that by following the path, by relying on the 3 jewels, we will be able to achieve all of our temporary and ultimate goals. So with that, we recite the refuge formula. The Guru is Buddha, the Guru is Dharma, the Guru is also Sangha. The Guru is the creator of all happiness. In all the Gurus, I take refuge. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is Dharma, the Guru is also Sangha. The Guru is the creator of all happiness. In all the Gurus, I take refuge. The Guru is Buddha, the Guru is Dharma, the Guru is also Sangha. The Guru is the creator of all happiness. In all the Gurus, I take refuge. Then taking refuge in generating bodhicitta. With the thought desiring to liberate transmigratory beings, I always take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until the heart of enlightenment is achieved. With perseverance, acting with wisdom, compassion, and loving kindness in front of the Buddhas for the benefit of sentient beings, I generate the thought of full enlightenment. With the thought desiring to liberate transmigratory beings, I always take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until the heart of enlightenment is achieved. With perseverance, acting with wisdom, compassion, and loving kindness in front of the Buddhas for the benefit of sentient beings, I generate the thought of full enlightenment. With the thought desiring to liberate transmigratory beings, I always take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until the heart of enlightenment is achieved. With perseverance, acting with wisdom, compassion, and loving kindness in front of the Buddhas for the benefit of sentient beings, I generate the thought of full enlightenment. So now, purifying the place, visualizing that the place we're in is not just an ordinary room or house, but is the pure land of the Buddha. Everywhere may the ground be pure, free of pebbles and so forth, as level as the palm of the hand, in the nature of Vaidurya and soft. So then invoking the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to come to this place. Savior of all sentient beings without exception, divine destroyer of the unbearable hordes of Maras and their forces, perfect knower of all things without exception, Bhagavan, together with your retinue, please come here. And then to bless, multiply, and present the offerings. May divine and human offerings, both actually arranged and mentally emanated, become clouds of the finest Samatavajra offerings, filling the entire realm of space. So here, if you've laid out offerings at your place, that's fine. As we recite the mantra, visualize that they pervade the whole of space. If you're too busy today, then Rinpoche has emphasized that all the offerings at the various FUMT centers at Kopan, at Rinpoche's houses, the retreat house in Washington, as well as the Aptos house, all the other students' homes where there's offerings laid out, we can offer them. So O Namo Bhagavate Vajrasara Paramadana Tadakataya Arahate Samyaksambuddhaya Tayada Om Vajra Dija Vajra Ma Bori Jita Vajra Ma Bori Manapasam Kramana Vajra Savakava Avarana Vishudana Vajra Soha O Namo Bhagavate Vajrasara Paramadana Tadakataya Arahate Samyaksambuddhaya Tayata Om Vajra Dija Bodhista Vajra Bodhi Manabhasam Ramana Vajra Savakava Avarana Visudana Vajra Soha Om Namo Bhagavate Vajra Sarava Madana Tadagadaya Arahate Samya Sambuddhe Tayata Om Vajra Ma Dija Vajra Ma Bodhi Chitta Vajra Ma Bodhi Manabhasam Kramana Vajra Savakava Avarana Visudana Vajra Soha. Oops. By the power of the truth of the three rare sublime ones, the blessings of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, the great wealth of the completed two types of merit, and the pure and inconceivable sphere of phenomena, may these piles of clouds of offerings arising through transformations by the Bodhisattvas, Arisamata, Bhadra, Manjushri, and so forth, unimaginable and inexhaustible, equaling the sky, and in the presence of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions be received. So here, it's just very good to think that all the offerings that we visualized, all the offerings that we've laid out, then are received by all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions, all the statues, stupas, scriptures, all the holy objects, all of which are inseparable from our own Guru. And when our Guru accepts the offerings, he or she generates great bliss within their mental continua. And this blissful mind realizes both the conventional nature of the objects of offering, means, that they're flowers, that the whatever food tastes very good, the incense smell is very good, all this, right? All the conventional nature. And then also realizes the ultimate nature of the objects of offering, meaning they lack inherent nature. So now prostrations. So yeah, we have these two, so we can stand up and do them. O Namo Manju Shuye, Nama Shu Shuye, Nama Uttama Shuye Soha. O Namo Manju Shuye, Nama Shu Shuye, Nama Uttama Shuye Soha. O Namo Manju Shuye, Nama Shu Shuye, Nama Uttama Shuye Soha. The Bhagavan, to the Guru, teacher, Bhagavan, Tathagata, perfectly complete Buddha, glorious conqueror, Shakyamuni. I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. Please grant me your blessings. To the Guru, teacher, Bhagavan, Tathagata, Arhat, perfectly complete Buddha, glorious conqueror, Shakyamuni. I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. Please grant me your blessings. To the Guru, teacher, Bhagavan, Tathagata, Arhat, perfectly complete Buddha, glorious conqueror, Shakyamuni. I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. Please grant me your blessings. Okay. So sitting back down. And now the actual practice. So here we do a little bit more extensive refuge visualization. So again, you can follow along in the text or just create the visualization as I read it out. At the level of my forehead, about 2 meters in front of me, is a large golden throne. It is beautifully adorned with jewels and supported at each corner by a pair of snow lions. On the throne is a fully blossomed lotus, and on that are sun and moon discs. Upon the lotus, sun, and moon sits Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, who has achieved perfect cessation of all suffering and obscurations and has attained all perfect realizations. He is the manifestation of the omniscient mind of all the Buddhas, the ultimate Guru. He is inseparable from my Guru, who shows me the unmistaken path and is bound by infinite compassion to me and all sentient beings. Guru Shakyamuni Buddha's holy body in the nature of golden light is very magnificent. He wears the 3 saffron robes of a monk. His face is beautiful and has a loving smile. His compassionate eyes look toward me, but simultaneously encompass all sentient beings. His eyes are long, narrow, and fine. His gaze is very peaceful. His eyes are half closed, half open. His lips are red. His hair is blue-black. Each hair individually curls to the right. On the crown of his head is a pinnacle. The palm of his right hand rests on his right knee, the middle finger touching the moon cushion. His left hand rests in his lap in the mudra of meditation, holding an alms bowl filled with nectar. He is seated in the Vajra posture in the center of an aura of light like sunbeams. Each feature of his holy body represents an aspect of his omniscient mind, his inner realizations, and also demonstrates the causes, the merits collected in the past. No matter how much one looks at Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, one never feels satiated. The supreme refuge, Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, encompasses the Guru, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. From his holy body, beams are emitted in all 10 directions. Numberless manifestations of Guru Shakyamuni Buddha are transformed on the tips of these beams to ripen the infinite sentient beings. Looking at me with compassionate eyes, Guru Shakyamuni Buddha says, "Son of the lineage, if you want to be liberated from the suffering of samsara, I will guide you." He happily promises this and also promises to free me from the breathless state of the lower realms. So now let's just take a few minutes and try to do a stabilizing meditation on Shakyamuni Buddha. So here, just the central figure. So again, as is mentioned in the text, we can do, even stabilizing meditation using the Buddha's image. It's actually very beneficial to do so. And when we do that, we can start by building up kind of piece by piece. So many lamas instruct to first start with the face, try to get some sense of the details of, the eyes, the lips, the hair, the ushnisha, crown protrusion. Going on, filling out the details of the body. And then after we have some level of detail, then just switch and just hold the mind without sort of adding more detail, just being satisfied with our level of visualization. And here, the most important thing is just to get the sense that the real Shakyamuni Buddha is here now in the space in front of us. So we'll do this meditation on the image of the Buddha for a few minutes. Okay, and then continuing with the refuge motivation. So please think around you are seated the infinite Father and Mother sentient beings. They are completely intoxicated with the unimaginable infinite sufferings of each of the 6 realms. They are wide-eyed, desperately looking for refuge, pitifully calling out, think. Circling continuously in samsara's 6 realms, I have been tormented by suffering from beginningless rebirths until now, and still I haven't become liberated from it. Fortunately, this time I have received a perfect human body. Because of my good fortune, I have met the most sublime teaching, the Buddha Dharma, revealed by the teacher, Guru Shakyamuni Buddha. I have no certainty I will not die today. My death could happen even today. If I were to die today, I would have no freedom to choose the realm in which I am reborn. I could fall down the precipice into one of the realms of the evil-gone transmigratory beings. I should think carefully about whether I would be able to bear those sufferings for even 1 second. If I were to achieve the body of a deva or human, which is extremely unlikely, I would still be ceaselessly tormented by many hundreds of sufferings such as birth, sickness, old age, and death, dissatisfaction, anxiety, relationship problems, and so forth. And after that, I would again fall down into lower realms. There's nothing to trust about being in the upper realms. This one time I have obtained a perfect human body with freedoms and richnesses, and being guided by the sublime, virtuous friend who reveals the path, and have the wisdom to discriminate between the shortcomings of samsara and the benefits of liberation. Therefore, I should quickly achieve liberation from this terrifying samsara. Yet, to liberate only myself from samsara is not sufficient. This is not the meaning of my life. Numberless sentient beings equaling the limitless sky are wandering in the suffering states of samsara, and they have all been my mothers and have been kind to me. Therefore, I must liberate them and lead them to peerless happiness of full enlightenment. Who is the refuge and guide who liberates the great ocean, who liberates from the great ocean of beginningless samsara? There is none other than the three rare sublime ones, the teacher, the fully enlightened one, the Dharma, the scriptures and realizations, and the Sangha, the Supreme Assembly. Therefore, together, I and every one of the transmigratory beings equaling the sky take refuge in the Guru, three rare sublime ones. So as we recite, we're going to do the visualizations of purifying negative karmas and increasing qualities. Okay. So in general, right, when we think of the purifying negative karmas, we're going to visualize white light coming from the Buddha, purifying all the negative karmas in general. And in particular, when we take refuge in the Guru, the particular negative karmas associated with disrespecting the Guru, not following the Guru's advice, harming the Guru's body, and so forth. And then similarly, when we take refuge in the Buddha, purifying, yes, negative karmas in general, but particularly the negative actions done in relation to the Buddha. Okay, so like that. So, yeah, let's just do a little bit more extensive. So we'll do one mala of each, so we can really get that sense of the visualization with the purification. And then after that, the after the purifying visualization is done, we can visualize receiving all the realization, all the blessings of the Guru coming in the form of yellow light to ourselves and all sentient beings. So we'll do in English, okay? I take refuge in the Gurus, 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 I take refuge in the Gurus. I take refuge in the Gurus, 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 I take refuge. I take refuge in the gurus. So now, after at the end of the recitation, think that you and all sentient beings have completely come under the guidance of the gurus. So next, refuge in the Buddha. I take 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 refuge in the Buddha. Think that you and all sentient beings have completely come under the guidance of the Buddha. Next, taking refuge in the Dharma. I take 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 refuge in the Dharma. Think that you and all sentient beings have come under the guidance of the Dharma. Taking refuge in the Sangha. I take refuge in the Sangha. I take refuge in the Sangha. I take refuge in the Sangha. Take refuge in the Sangha. I take refuge in the Sangha. Take refuge in the Sangha. I take refuge in the Sangha. I take refuge in the Sangha. I take refuge in the Sangha. Think that you and all sentient beings have completely come under the guidance of the Sangha. So now the taking refuge in genuine bodhicitta verse. So not just that we're taking refuge, but we're doing so until we are enlightened, and also directing all of our virtue from our practice of generosity and so forth for the goal of enlightenment, to become a Buddha, to benefit transmigratory beings. I take refuge until I'm enlightened in the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly. By my merits of generosity and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit transmigratory beings. I take refuge until I'm enlightened in the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly. By my merits of generosity and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit transmigratory beings. I take refuge until I'm enlightened in the Buddha Dharma, the Supreme Assembly. By my merits of generosity and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit transmigratory beings. Then meditating on the four measurables. So each of the four measurables has four different stages. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were to abide in equanimity, free from attachment and hatred, discriminating some beings as close and others as distant. So we take our time and really get the sense of what it would be like if all sentient beings were abiding in equanimity, not having attachment or hatred. Think what that would mean for the world. No more war, no more violence, and then all the problems associated with attachment would also not occur again. So thinking how wonderful that would be. May they abide in equanimity. So here generating that pure wish, that pure aspiration that all beings abide in equanimity. And then the uncommon aspiration of the Mahayana, thinking I myself will cause them to abide in equanimity. So taking on the personal responsibility because, well, if you don't cause them, then who else will? There have been countless Buddhas that have arisen in the past that are still abiding in the present. And yet, so many sentient beings still are suffering in samsara, still overwhelmed by attachment, hatred. And so now, those particular sentient beings that have a karmic connection with you, and perhaps didn't have a karmic connection with Shakyamuni Buddha, with Avalokiteshvara and the other Buddhas, then you will be the one that will guide them to abide in equanimity. You're going to be the one who will lead them to generate compassion, loving kindness, and eventually the state of enlightenment. And therefore, to think it is up to me, it is my responsibility. And therefore, I will lead all the sentient beings to abide in equanimity. Please, Guru Buddha, bless me to be able to do this. So here requesting our Guru, inseparable from the Buddha, to give us the inspiration and blessings needed so that we will be able to fulfill our aspiration to guide all sentient beings to the state of equanimity. Next, immeasurable loving kindness. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were to achieve Buddhahood. So again, imagining if all sentient beings achieve Buddhahood, how wonderful that would be. Here again, alternating between the analytic meditation, where we use the conceptual mind, we use our power of imagination to think about what that would be like. And then when we arrive at the conclusion, oh, wow, that would be so wonderful. There'd be no more suffering. Everyone would be, abiding in the peerless state of perfect happiness forever. And when you get a sense of how wonderful it would be, then just let your mind abide in that realization. May they achieve Buddhahood. I myself will cause them to achieve Buddhahood. Please, Guru Buddha, bless me to be able to do this. Next, immeasurable compassion. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they be free from suffering and its causes. I myself will cause them to be free from suffering and its causes. Please, Guru Buddha, bless me to be able to do this. Then immeasurable joy. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were never separated from the happiness of higher rebirth and liberation. May they never be separated from these. I will cause them never to be separated from these. Please, Guru Buddha, bless me to be able to do this. So next, bodhicitta motivation. Just as I have been suffering in some sorrow from beginningless time, so too have all my kind mother sentient beings who are so precious. They are the source of all my past, present, and future happiness, and have been kind to me again and again numberless times from beginningless time. Therefore, I have the responsibility to liberate all the numberless kind mother sentient beings from the unimaginable oceans of samsaric suffering and its causes. However, in my present state, not only am I unable to liberate others, I cannot even benefit myself. Even if I were to achieve the state of an arhat, the work for myself would still not be complete, and the work for others would be limited. Therefore, in order to complete the work for myself and others, I definitely need to achieve full enlightenment, the state of Buddhahood. If I achieve the sublime state of Buddhahood, I will have ceased all the numberless mistakes and completed all qualities, and I will then be able to work effortlessly for all the kind mother transmigratory beings, equaling the extent of space. Therefore, in order to achieve full enlightenment quickly, I'm going to follow the example of the brave, extensive deeds of a bodhisattva in order to benefit others, In particular, I'm going to meditate on the stages of the path to enlightenment. So here we're combining both the wishing bodhicitta with the engaging bodhicitta. So not only just merely wishing that we achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, but saying then that we're going to then direct our practice, in this case, the meditation on the stages of the path to enlightenment for that goal. So now, the 7 limb prayer. I prostrate reverently with my body, speech, and mind. So here we can, put our hands in the prostration mudra at our hearts and think that we are prostrating with countless bodies. Think that we're prostrating along with all the listening beings that we visualize around us. And think that we're prostrating to all the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, statues, to the scriptures, all the holy objects in the entire universe. I present clouds of every type of offering, both actually arranged and mentally emanated. So here are all those offerings that we visualized before, all the offerings at the various centers, on our own altars, and so forth. Think that we're offering them to all the Buddha and Sangha attached to the scripture, inseparable from our own guru. I confess my negative actions and downfalls collected from beginningless time. Sorry, I should have mentioned then when in the limb of offering, right, after we present the offerings and our guru receives them, generating great bliss in the holy mind, the bliss that also realizes the conventional and ultimate nature of the offerings. So then, limb of confession, I confess all my negative actions and downfalls collected from beginningless time. So here we can, in the limb of confession, okay, so there's different ways to do, but one way in your daily practice is during the limb of confession, then to switch to this other more extensive confession practice. So here we have the confession to 35 Buddhas. Okay. So we have a bit of time. We're good with time. If you're shorter on time, since we did already the more extensive motivation at the beginning of our session, strictly speaking, we wouldn't have to do this again. But since we have time, we can do. Oops. Okay. So the purpose of my life is to free the numberless sentient beings who are the source of all my past, present, and future happiness, temporary as well as ultimate, including all the realizations of the path, liberation from samsara, and enlightenment from all the oceans of samsaric suffering, including the causes. delusion, and karma. In order to do this, I must achieve full enlightenment. Therefore, I need to actualize the path. Therefore, I need to purify my negative karmas and downfalls. If I were now born in hell, it would be so unbearable. Even one tiny fire spark on my body is hundreds of thousands of times hotter than the whole entire fire energy in this world. It is so unbearable that experiencing it for even an instant is like suffering for many eons. I have created numberless causes to be born in the hell realms by creating the 10 non-virtuous actions countless times in this and beginningless past lives. I have created numberless causes to be reborn in the hell realms by breaking the Pratimoksha vow, by breaking the Bodhisattva vow, and by breaking the Tantra vow countless times in this and beginningless past lives. And I have created numberless causes to be born in the hells by creating the heaviest negative karma in relation to the holy virtuous friends by harming their holy bodies, disobeying their advice, disturbing their holy minds, having non-devotional thoughts, and giving rise to heresy and anger, which produce the greatest obstacles to achieving realizations and create the greatest suffering. Every single one of these negative actions have 4 suffering results. The ripened aspect result, birth in lower realms. The possessed result, the types of environments I experience when again born as a human. And the result similar to cause as experience. And the worst one, the result similar to the cause as an action. Which means that again and again, I am forced to create the same negative actions in the future. And again, I have to experience the 4 suffering results. In this way, samsara has no end. Not only that, but karma increases, so even a small negative action can have huge suffering results. And karma is definite to be experienced. So every negative action I have created will definitely bring its results, no matter how long it takes, until it is purified. So, from one negative karma, I have to experience the result over and over again for so many hundreds of lifetimes. Understanding this, how can I stand to live my life without purifying myself and getting rid of all these negative karmas, just as I would try to get rid of a deadly poison in my body? Not only that, but I'm going to die, and death can come even today at any moment. And therefore, I must purify all my negative actions right this second. In order to do that, I'm going to do these prostrations with confessions of a bodhisattva's downfalls to the 35 Buddhas. I'm also going to do this so I can actualize the path and achieve full enlightenment for the benefit of all sinning beings. So now the visualization here, as they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So we get the sense of this visualization. Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, inseparable from our own Guru, from his heart is Avalokiteshvara. At Avalokiteshvara's heart is the seizable free. And from that, you see these light beams emitted, at the tips of which are all these other Buddhas. We have in the subsequent rows, the rest of the 35 confession Buddhas, and then the 8 medicine Buddhas. Okay. So thinking that all of these Buddhas are, here. Think that each one of these Buddhas is the embodiment of all the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and all the statutory scriptures of the 3 times in 10 directions, whose essence is the Guru. Have complete faith that each and every one has the power to purify all your negative karmas and obscurations collected from beginningless rebirths. Now imagine that you emanate numberless bodies, and that as you prostrate, these bodies prostrate along with you in all directions, covering every atom of the earth. Okay. So, we have time. So let's do prostrations. So as you might have noticed, I'm not in my usual space because the generator, when the construction starts, the guys are a little bit late today, but when it does start, then it's right outside the window of the other place. So what that means is actually in my normal room, it's not big enough to do full-length prostrations. Okay, that's okay. We can do the short prostration. If in your place you're blessed with enough space, you can do full-length prostrations. Okay, so let's do. And here, as I mentioned last week, in my opinion, it should have the other multiplying mantra, Om Namo Manjushri, Namo Shushri, Namo Uttamashri Soha. Okay, so we did that at the beginning of the session, but I think you should do it again here. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll do these prostration multiplying mantras, and then we'll do one time through, okay? But with every one of these names, we'll recite the names as many times as we can in the time it takes for one prostration, okay? Oh, I see. Oh, it is here. Huh. Oh, no. There's another one. Okay. Anyway. Were you able to hear me when I did the prostrations? Kinda? All right. So I'm going to stand up and do so you can follow along. So the order that had been done before, we'll do Om Namo Manjushri, that mantra, and then the Rinchen Gyaltsen, and then this last one, Om Namo Bhagavate Ranaketu Radzaya. Okay, so as it says, you can recite, not one recitation for each prostration, but just you can do 3 recitations back to back. Okay. Onamo Manjushri Nama Shushri Nama Uttamashri Soa. Onamo Manjushri Nama Shushri Nama Uttamashri Soa. Onamo Manjushri Nama Shushri Nama Uttamashri Soa. Dishabarishin Gyasana Chasalo, Dishabarishin Gyasana Chasalo, Dishabarishin Gyasana Chasalo. Onamo Bhagavate Rana Kidurazaya, Tatakatayara, Desamizam Buddhaya Tadaum, Rane Rana Bizai Soa. Onamo Bhagavate Rana Kidurazaya, Tatakatayara, Desamizam Buddhaya Tadaum, Rane Rana Bizai Soa. Onamo Bhagavate Rana Kidurazaya, Tatakatayara, Desamizam Buddhaya Tadaum, Rane Rana Bizai Soa. To the Bhagavan Tathagata, to the founder Bhagavan Tathagata, perfect complete Buddha, glorious conqueror Shakyamuni Buddha, prostrate. Om Namo Dasha Deka Tri Karana Chaya Nama Pradaksha Subhadasha Sarva Papam Vishadani Soa. To the Guru Teacher Bhagavan Tathagata, perfect complete Buddha, glorious conqueror Shakyamuni Buddha, I prostrate. Om Namo Dasha Deka Tri Karana Chaya Nam Pradaksha Subhadasha Sava Papam Vijnani Soa. To the Guru Bhagavan Tadakadara, perfectly complete Buddha, glorious conqueror Shakyamuni, I prostrate. Om Namo Dashdeka Ti Karana Chaya. Nam Pradaksha Subhadasha Sava Papam Vijnani Soa. To the Guru Bhagavan Tadakadara, perfectly complete Buddha, glorious conqueror Shakyamuni, I prostrate. Om Namo Dashdeka Ti Karana Chaya. Nam Pradaksha Subhadasha Sava Papam Vijnani Soa. Okay. Homage to the confession of Bodhisattva's downfalls. I, Tenzin Namjong, throughout all times, take refuge in the Guru, I take refuge in the Buddha, I take refuge in the Dharma, I take refuge in the Sangha. To the Bhagavan Tathagata, perfectly complete Buddha, glorious conqueror, Shakyamuni, I prostrate. Tathagata, thoroughly destroying with, okay. Tathagata, thoroughly destroying with Vajra essence, I prostrate. Tathagata, thoroughly destroying with Vajra essence, I prostrate. Tathagata, radiant jewel, 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 I prostrate. Tathagata, King Lord of the Nagas, 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 I prostrate. Tathagata, army of heroes, I prostrate. Tathagata, army of heroes, I prostrate. Tathagata, army of heroes, I prostrate. Tathagata, delighted hero, I prostrate. Tathagata, delighted hero, I prostrate. Tathagata, delighted hero, I prostrate. Tathagata, jewel fire, I prostrate. Tathagata, jewel fire, I prostrate. Tathagata, jewel fire, I prostrate. Tathagata, jewel moonlight, I prostrate. Tathagata, jewel moonlight, I prostrate. Tathagata, jewel moonlight, I prostrate. Tathagata, meaningful to see, I prostrate. Tathagata, meaningful to see, I prostrate. Tathagata, meaningful to see, I prostrate. Tathagata, jewel moon, 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 I prostrate. Tathagata, stainless one, 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 I prostrate. Tathagata, bestow with courage, I prostrate. Tathagata, bestow with courage, I prostrate. Tathagata, bestow with courage, I prostrate. Tathagata, bestowed with courage, I prostrate. Tathagata, pure one, 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 I prostrate. Tathagata, bestowed purity, I prostrate. Tathagata, bestowed purity, I prostrate. Tathagata, bestowed purity, I prostrate. Tathagata, water god, 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 I prostrate. Tathagata, deity of the water god, I prostrate. Tathagata, deity of the water god, I prostrate. Tathagata, deity of the water god, I prostrate. Tathagata, glorious goodness, I prostrate. Tathagata, glorious goodness, I prostrate. Tathagata, glorious goodness, I prostrate. Tathagata, glorious sound of what I prostrate. Tathagata, glorious sound of what I prostrate. Tathagata, glorious sound of what I prostrate. Tathagata, infinite splendor, I prostrate. Tathagata, infinite splendor, I prostrate. Tathagata, infinite splendor, I prostrate. Tathagata, glorious light, 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 I prostrate. Tathagata, sorrowless glory, I prostrate. Tathagata, sorrowless glory, I prostrate. Tathagata, sorrowless glory, I prostrate. Tathagata, son of non-craving, I prostrate. Tathagata, son of non-craving, I prostrate. Tathagata, son of non-craving, I prostrate. Tathagata, glorious flower, 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 I prostrate. Tathagata, glorious pure light rays clearing on by play, I prostrate. Tathagata, pure light rays clearing on by play, I prostrate. Tathagata, pure light rays clearing on by play, I prostrate. Tathagata, lotus light rays clearing on by play, I prostrate. Tathagata, lotus light rays clearing on by play, I prostrate. Tathagata, lotus light rays clearing on by play, I prostrate. Tathagata, glorious wealth, 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 I prostrate. Tathagata, glorious mindfulness, I prostrate. Tathagata, glorious mindfulness, I prostrate. Tathagata, glorious mindfulness, I prostrate. Tathagata, glorious name, widely renowned, I prostrate. Tathagata, glorious name, widely renowned, I prostrate. Tathagata, glorious name, widely renowned, I prostrate. Tathagata, king holding the victory banner, foremost power, I prostrate. Tathagata, king holding the victory banner, foremost power, prostrate. Tathagata, king holding victory banner, foremost power, prostrate. Tathagata, glorious one, totally subduing, I prostrate. Tathagata, glorious one, totally subduing, I prostrate. Tadagata glorious one, totally subduing, I prostrate. Tadagata utterly victorious in battle, I prostrate. Tadagata utterly victorious in battle, I prostrate. Tadagata utterly victorious in battle, I prostrate. To Tathagata, glorious transcendence through subduing, I prostrate. Tathagata glorious transcendence through subduing, I prostrate. Tathagata glorious transcendence through subduing, I prostrate. Tathagata glorious manifestations illuminating all, I prostrate. Tathagata glorious manifestations illuminating all, I prostrate. Tathagata glorious manifestations illuminating all, I prostrate. Tathagata also doing Jewel Lotus, I prostrate. Tathagata also doing Jewel Lotus, I prostrate. Tathagata also doing Jewel Lotus, I prostrate. Tathagata perfectly complete Buddha, King of Lord Mountains firmly seated on Jewel Lotus, I prostrate. Tathagata perfectly complete Buddha, King of Lord Mountains firmly seated on Jewel Lotus, I prostrate. Tathagata perfectly complete Buddha, King of Lord Mountains firmly seated on Jewel Lotus, I prostrate. To the Bhagavan Tathagata, perfectly complete Buddha, renowned glorious King of excellent signs, I prostrate. The Bhagavan Tathagata, perfectly complete Buddha, renowned glorious King of excellent signs, I prostrate. Bhagavan Tathagata, perfectly complete Buddha, King of Lotus sound, brave remains of skill, Dharma, Jerusalem, Lotus, I prostrate. The Bhagavan Tathagata, perfectly complete Buddha, King of Lotus sound, brave remains of Jewel, brave remains of skill, Dharma, Jerusalem, Lotus, I prostrate. To the Bhagavan Tathagata, perfectly complete Buddha, Sand, sex, and gold, looming jewel who accomplished all conduct, I prostrate. The Bhagavan Tathagata, perfectly complete Buddha, Sand, sex, and gold, looming jewel who accomplished all conduct, I prostrate. To the Bhagavan Tathagata, perfectly complete Buddha, glorious supreme one, free from sorrow, I prostrate. The Bhagavan Tathagata, perfectly complete Buddha, glorious supreme one, free from sorrow, I prostrate. To the Bhagavan Tathagata, perfectly complete Buddha, Melody Soshana proclaimed Dharma, I prostrate. The Bhagavan Tathagata, perfectly complete Buddha, Melody Soshana proclaimed Dharma, I prostrate. The Bhagavan Tathagata, perfectly complete Buddha, King, clearly known by play of supreme wisdom of an ocean of Dharma, I prostrate. Bhagavan Tathagata, perfectly complete Buddha, King, clearly known by play of supreme wisdom of an ocean of Dharma, I prostrate. The Bhagavan Tathagata, perfectly complete Buddha, medicine guru, King of Lapis Light, or Vaidurya Light, I prostrate. Bhagavan Tathagata, perfectly complete Buddha, medicine guru, King of Vaidurya Light, I prostrate. Okay. Okay, so now if it's sort of comfortable or feasible, you can kneel on one knee. Because of the webcam and microphone setup, I'm just going to sit back down normally. Either way, now we complete the rest of the 4-point powers. So thinking in this way. In this life and all you 35 Buddhas, 7 medicine Buddhas, and others, as many Tathagata are perfectly complete Buddha Bhagavans as there are abiding, living, and residing in all world systems of 10 directions. All you Buddha Bhagavans, please pay attention to me. In this life and all the states of rebirth in which I have circled in samsara from beginningless lives, whatever negative actions I have created, may those created rejoice in the creation of. Whatever possessions of holy objects of offering, possession of the Sangha, or possession of Sangha of the 10 directions that I have appropriated, made others appropriate or rejoice in the appropriation of. Whichever among the 5 heavy negative karmas without break I have done, caused to be done, or rejoice in doing of. Whichever the 10 non-virtuous paths of actions I have engaged in, cause others to engage in or rejoice in engaging of. Whatever I have done, being obscured by these karmas, has caused me to be reborn as a sentient being in the hell realm, in the animal realm, or in the Preta realm, in an irreligious country as a barbarian, or as a long-life god with imperfect faculties, holding wrong views, or not being pleased with the Buddha's descent. In the presence of the Buddha Bhagavans, who are transcendental wisdom, who are eyes, who are witnesses, who are valid, and who see with unremission consciousness, I admit and confess all these negative actions. I do not conceal them nor hide them, and from now on in the future I'll abstain and refrain from committing them again. All Buddha Bhagavans, please pay attention to me. in this life and all the states of rebirth in which I have circled in samsara from beginner's lives, whatever roots of virtue I've created by generosity, even as little as giving just one mouthful of food to a being born in the animal realm, whatever roots of virtue I've created by guarding morality, whatever roots of virtue I've created by following pure conduct, whatever roots of virtue I've created by fully ripening sentient beings, whatever roots of virtue I've created by generating bodhicitta, and whatever roots of virtue I've created by my unsurpassed transcendental wisdom, all these assembled and gathered, and then combined together, I fully dedicate to the unsurpassed, the unexcelled, that higher than the high, that superior to the superior. Thus, I completely dedicate to the highest, perfect, and complete enlightenment. Just as the past Buddha Bhagavans have fully dedicated, just as the future Buddha Bhagavans will fully dedicate, and just as the presently abiding Buddha Bhagavans are fully dedicating, like that I too dedicate fully. I confess all negative actions individually. I rejoice in all merits. So here, take a moment and rejoice in the merits of yourself as well as all the other ordinary beings, and then rejoicing in the merits of those who are on the path, Shravaka path, Paticca Buddha path, the Mahayana path, particularly the merits of the Bodhisattvas and Buddhas. I urge and request all Buddhas, so urging the Buddhas to remain and requesting them to teach. May I achieve the supreme, holy, and peerless transcendental wisdom. To the conquerors, the best of humans who are living in the present time, who have lived in the past, and who will likewise come, to all those whose qualities are vast as infinite ocean, with hands full that I approach for refuge. So now we do the general confession as well. And here we can, as we go through these various negative karmas that are listed, we can think that they are totally empty from their own side. Woe is me, great Guru Vajradhara, all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas who abide in 10 directions and all the Venerable Sangha, please pay attention to me. I, who am named Tenzin Namjong, circling in cyclic existence from beginning time until the present, overpowered by delusions such as attachment, hatred, and ignorance by means of my body, speech, and mind, have committed the 10 non-virtuous actions, committed the 5 heavy negative karmas without break, and committed the 5 nearing heavy negative karmas without break. I've transgressed the vow of individual liberation, transgressed the vow of bodhisattvas, and transgressed the samaya of secret mantra. I have been disrespectful to my parents, disrespectful to my Vajra masters and my abbot, and disrespectful to my spiritual friends living in ordination. I have committed actions harmful to the 3 rare sublime ones, abandoned the holy Dharma, criticized the Arya Sangha, harmed sentient beings, and so on. These and many other non-virtuous negative actions I have done, caused others to do, rejoice in others doing, and so forth. In the presence of the great Guru Vajradhara, all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas who abide in the 10 directions and the Venerable Sangha, I admit this entire collection of faults and transgressions that are obstacles to my own higher rebirth and liberation and causes of cyclic existence in the lower realms. I do not conceal them, and I accept them as negative. I promise to refrain from doing these actions again in the future. By confessing and acknowledging them, I will attain and abide in happiness, while by not confessing and acknowledging them, true happiness will not come. So then we think that through the force of reciting names of the 35 Buddhas and the 7 medicine Buddhas, through the power of their pure prayers and vows, through the power of your regret and the other opponent forces, And through the power of your having done these prostrations, nectar and light descend from the holy bodies of the Buddhas. All the negative karma, obscurations, and imprints collected on your mental continuum from beginningless rebirths completely purified. Generate strong faith that your mind has become completely pure. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma, no action of creating negative karma, and no negative karma created. We'll do the mantra of pure morality. We'll do just 7 times. It says 7 times slowly or 21 times quickly. We'll do 7 times quickly. Om Amagashila Sam Bada 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 Ma Shuddha Sava Pema Bibugita Bujadada Samanta Avalokite Hum Pesoa. Om Amagashila Sam Bada 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 Ma Shuddha Sava Pema Bibugita Bujadada Samanta Avalokite Hum Pesoa. Om Amagashila Sam Bada 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 Ma Shuddha Sava Pema Bibugita Bujadada Samanta Avalokite Hum Pesoa. Om Amagashila Sam Bada 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 Ma Shuddha Sava Pema Bibugita Bujadada Samanta Avalokite Hum Pesoa. Om Amagashila Sam Bara 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 Ma Shuddha Sava Pemo Bibugita Bujadada Samanta Avalokite Hum Pesoa. Om Amagashila Sam Bara 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 Ma Shuddha Sava Pemo Bibugita Bujadada Samanta Avalokite Hum Pesoa. Om Amagashila Sam Bara 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 Ma Shuddha Sava Pemo Bibugita Bujadada Samanta Avalokite Hum Pesoa. By abiding in false morality of Dharma rules, completely pure morality and morality free from conceit, may I complete the perfection of morality. So I thought we had a lot of time, but somehow we don't anymore. So I had mentioned we would do I thought we could do the Vajrasattva as well as the 35 Buddha practice. It's okay. Any of these purification practices is done through the application of the 4 opponent powers. And so we know how to do that. Okay. We did it in relation to the 35 Buddhas. And so at the end, right, we think all our negative karma is completely purified. Okay. So then if we turn around and then do Vajrasattva right after, maybe the 35 Buddhas will say, hey, we have the power to purify you. Why are you going to do Vajrasattva now? Okay, I'm a little bit joking. Okay. Actually, in the evening, then yeah, it's good to do both back to back. Okay. So now rejoicing in the virtues of ordinary beings and Aryas. I rejoice in the virtue of ordinary beings and Aryas. So, we can rejoice in their qualities, right? So thinking of all the qualities of other beings, particularly the Bodhisattvas and Buddhas, thinking of their bodhicitta, thinking of their realization of emptiness, okay? So thinking about their qualities and rejoicing. We can also think about, the fact of how much benefit they give to others, right? So even thinking of our gurus, or Shakyamuni Buddha, then through their activities of teaching, particularly their activity of teaching, but the many ways that they benefit sentient beings, rejoice about that. So now, please remain until the end of samsara, requesting that the Buddhas remain in the world. And turn the wheel of Dharma for transmigratory beings. And so on the last limb, requesting them to stay, remain, we offer a Vajra throne marked with a double dorje, supported by the 8 snow lions. The Guru accepts our request and agrees to remain. And then here, turning the wheel of Dharma, we visualize offering the Dharma chakra, the Dharma wheel, 1,000 spokes, made out of gold, not just one, but countless. And our guru, upon receiving that, then agrees to teach and guide us. Then dedicate my own merits and others' virtue to the great enlightenment. Then the mandala offering. This ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned Mount Meru, full continent, sun and moon, I imagine as a Buddha land and offer it. May all the transmigratory beings enjoy this pure land. Due to the merits of offering this mandala to Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, may I and my family members and all sentient beings be able to meet, practice, and actualize the teaching of the victorious one, Losung Drakpa, who lived an eminent life endowed with pure morality, a brave heart in doing the Bodhisattva's extensive deeds, and the yoga of the two stages, the supreme transcendental wisdom of non-dual bliss and emptiness. Idam Guru Rana Mandala Kam Niratayami. So some requests. So what do we request? Well, the ultimate request is, to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings as quickly as possible in this very lifetime. Then what do we need for that, right? So we need access to the holy gurus and the Dharma. We need all the conducive conditions for practice, including, having places to do retreat. And then we can make requests for, more generally, the conducive conditions in the world. So for us and others, to not have illness, to not experience suffering of, natural disasters, and there be no more war. All these conditions that bring, yes, they bring suffering to sentient beings, but, when we experience them ourselves, then it also can create obstacle to our Dharma practice. So now we make these requests for in short, all the temporary and ultimate aims, virtuous aims of sentient beings to be fulfilled. We make these requests. Holy body created by 10 million excellent virtues, holy speech, fulfilling the hopes of infinite transmigratory beings, holy mind seeing all objects of knowledge just as they are, to the principle of the Shakyas I make request. Guru Vajradhara, embodiment of all three refuges, takes the form of the virtuous friend to subdue beings in whatever way is needed, and grants the supreme and common realizations to the kind gurus I make request. Holy, sublime, feel the merit, my perfect, pure guru, by making offerings and requests to you, Savior. Sole root of happiness, all happiness and goodness, please bless me to be happily guided by you. Magnificent and precious root guru, please abide in the lotus and moon on my crown. Guide me with your great kindness and grant me the realizations of your holy body, speech, and mind. And now, further sort of more specific requests for all the realizations of the Lam Rim, right? Then we do the foundation of all good qualities. So here, reciting each verse slowly, and at the end of the verse, think that all the obstacles preventing the realization of that specific Lam Rim topic are purified, and you generate its realization. The foundation of all good qualities is the kind and perfect guru. Correctly following the guru is the root of the path. By my clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon the guru with great respect. When I have discovered that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, it is extremely difficult to find again and is greatly meaningful, please bless me to unceasingly generate the mind that taking its essence day and night. This body and life are changing like a water bubble. Remember how quickly they perish and death comes. After death, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of black and white karma follow. When I found definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be conscientious in abandoning even the slightest collection of shortcoming and accomplish all virtuous deeds. When I recognize the shortcomings of samsaric perfections, there is no satisfaction in enjoying them. They are the door to all suffering, and they cannot be trusted. Please bless me to generate a strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Through my being led by this pure thought with great remembrance, alertness, and conscientiousness, please bless me to make keeping the individual liberation vows, the root of the teachings, my essential practice. Just as I have fallen to the sea of samsara, so have all transmigratory beings. By my seeing this, please bless me to train in supreme bodhicitta, which bears the responsibility of freeing transmigratory beings. Even if I develop only bodhicitta without familiarizing myself with the three types of morality, I cannot achieve enlightenment. By my seeing this well, please bless me to keep the vow of the sons of the victorious ones with fervent effort. By my having pacified distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyzed the meaning of reality, please bless me to quickly generate within my mind stream the unified path of calm abiding and special insight. When I have become a suitable vessel by training in the common path, please bless me to immediately enter the holy gateway of the fortunate beings, the supreme of all vehicles, the Vajrayana. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the two attainments is keeping my vows and samayas purely. When I have gained effortless conviction in this, please bless me to protect them even at the cost of my life. Then, when I have realized exactly the vital points of the two stages, the essence of the tantric sets, and am enjoying the yoga of the 4 sessions with effort, without being distracted by non-meditation objects, please bless me to accomplish these according to the teaching of the holy beings. Thus may the virtuous friends who reveal the noble path and spiritual practitioners who correctly accomplish it have long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely the collections of outer and inner obstacles. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma. And by completing the qualities of the grounds and paths, may I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. So now we do some mantra recitation. So as you recite the mantra of Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, visualize white light radiating from Buddha's heart and entering your body, speech, and mind. All diseases, spirit harm, negative karmas, and obscurations are washed out of you like dirt being washed out of a cloth. So we can recite a little bit quickly in interest of time. Tayata om muni muni ma muni so 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 tayata Tata muni muni mamuri so tata muni muni mamuri so. Tata muni muni mamuri so tata muni muni. Tata om muni muni mahamuni so. So then, as you continue to recite the mantra, visualize yellow light radiating from Guru Shakyamuni Buddha's heart and entering your body, speech, and mind. You receive all the qualities of the Buddha's holy body, holy speech, and holy mind. In particular, your mind is transformed into the perfect wisdom of the Buddha's omniscient mind, and you attain Buddha's perfect compassion and perfect power. You become a perfect guide, able to fulfill the wishes of all sentient beings and bring every happiness, especially the highest happiness of enlightenment. So we'll do a few more recitations. Tata muni muni mamuni so 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 tata muni muni so. Tayata om muni muni mahamuni so. So at the end of the recitation, think that the suffering of sentient beings are unbearable. Even the problems of one sentient being are unbearable. Generate a strong determination to free every sentient being from the oceans of samsaric suffering and their causes. Not only that, also make the determination to take upon yourself every sentient being's suffering and problems along with their causes, karmas, and delusion, and to bring them to the ultimate happiness of liberation from samsara and the peerless happiness of full enlightenment. Make the determination to live your life with a good heart, great compassion and loving kindness for all sentient beings, and to work to free them from all sufferings and their causes and to bring them to full enlightenment. Think that because you've generated this thought to benefit all sentient beings and because you're making your life worthwhile, Buddha is extremely pleased with you. Then the conclusion, Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, who is in essence all the Buddhas, Dharma and Sangha, melts into light and absorbs into me. We become completely one. My body, speech, and mind become Guru Shakyamuni Buddha's holy body, holy speech, and holy mind. And then think that we arise in the aspect of Buddha. And my heart is a moon disk with the mantra, Tata Muni Muni Mamuni So, around its edge. Light beams radiate from my holy body with a Buddha on the tip of each beam. A Buddha comes to the crown of each of the numberless sentient beings, numberless hell beings, hungry ghosts, animals, human beings, asuras, and intermediate state beings. White light beams descend from the Buddha's holy body, purifying their defilements. Then the Buddha absorbs into each sentient being and they all become Buddha. Think how wonderful it is that I have enlightened all sentient beings. Okay, so now we dedicate. So first to actualize bodhicitta. Due to all the past, present, future merits collected by me and all the merits of the 3 times collected by numberless sentient beings and numberless Buddhas. May bodhicitta be generated in the hearts of all the sentient beings of the 6 realms and especially in the hearts of everybody in this world, including all the students, benefactors, and volunteers in the FPMT organization. May it be generated in the hearts of all those who rely upon me, all those for whom I have promised to pray, and all those whose names have been given to me. may be generated in my heart and in the hearts of all my family members, those who are living and those who have died. May the bodhicitta that has already been generated increase. Then for peace and happiness to prevail in the world, due to all the past, present, future merits collected by me, the numerous Buddhas, and numerous ascending beings, may all war, famine, disease, global problems, and all the dangers of earth, water, fire, and wind be stopped immediately. May perfect peace and happiness prevail in everyone's hearts by their generating loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta. May the Buddha Dharma from where ascending beings receive peace and happiness last a long time and spread in all directions. May all ascending beings meet the Buddha Dharma and achieve enlightenment as quickly as possible. Due to all the past, present, future merits collected by me, numberless ascending beings and numberless Buddhas, may I be able to cherish every single hell being, hungry ghost, animal, human being, asura, and intermediate state being, more than the sky filled with dollars, diamonds, or wish-granting jewels. May I be able to free all of them from the lower realms, samsara, and lower nirvana, and bring everyone to the peerless happiness of Buddhahood. Due to all the past, present, future merits collected by me, numerous Buddhas, and numerous ascending beings, which are completely empty of existing from their own side, may I, who am completely empty of existing from my own side, achieve the state of full alignment, which is completely empty of existing from its own side, and lead all ascending beings who are completely empty of existing from their own side to that state, which is completely empty of existing from its own side, by myself alone, who am completely empty of existing from my own side. In these verses from the King of Prayers, I fully dedicate all these virtues to be able to train just like the hero Manjushu who knows reality, and just like Samatha as well. I fully dedicate all my roots of virtue. With the dedication, praise is the best, but all the gone beyond victorious ones of 3 times, in order to have good conduct. And so let's also dedicate for the long lives of our gurus. So first for His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Incomparably kind and supreme Tenzin Gyatso, wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, may you have a long life, and all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And then, for the long life of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, you who uphold the subduer's moral way, who serve as bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, spreading Manjunath's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplish magnificent prayers honoring the 3 sublime ones, Savior of myself and others, your disciples, please, please live long. So some of you know that there is going to be a long life puja at Kopan. I think it starts maybe now. Maybe it's already started, I'm not sure. So yeah, please, we dedicate for the long lives of spiritual friends and all their holy wishes to be spontaneously fulfilled. And also from our side, may we always be guided. May we and all sentient beings always be guided by perfectly qualified, virtuous friends. May we always be able to fulfill all of their holy wishes immediately and put into practice all the advice that exactly as they intend. Okay, so that's that. We finished on time. Okay, we had our 4 sessions in today's practice session. So this actually is the end of the module. So now you all have a very nice holiday season. And yeah, not a holiday from practicing Dharma, but maybe you have a few days off of work, spend with your loved ones. Okay, so that's that. Anything else? So just to give a trailer, a teaser, I am trying to plan a trip to Northern California in February, March, sometime like this. So I have to work it out with Mary Ellen. And we're also talking with the good folks at Vajrapani Institute. So hopefully we'll have a in-person program in Lamrim retreat. So yeah, let's hope it works out. Mary Ellen, I'm about to email you and Joe to see if we can have a conversation before the Christmas break. So yeah, maybe in the next couple of days. Okay. So the rest of you, I wish you all the best. Thank you for all your efforts. And we'll see you maybe in person very soon.
Thank you very much, Namjang.
Thank you, Namjang.
Thank you.
Okay. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Okay. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.